And so, I feel like that's enough talk on the Telecaster.
Yes, we're gonna move on over.
Let's move on to the Arm Homeless.
Sure.
And this was an all-time favorite as also.
This one is been with me for 30 years now, and the history of this guitar is spotty. When I first moved to Hollywood, I wanted to have a custom-made guitar because Steve Vai and some of my favorites had a custom-made guitar. So I went to a guitar shop with my first check that I got from my first real job, and I plunked, and they skinned me. Like, yeah, I mean, it was a huge ripoff. It was probably the worst guitar that I've ever played. And I chose, but it was my own fault. It's like, I chose the fretboard, and I chose this, that, and the other. But I'm not a luthier. I have no idea whether it should be ash or, I have no idea. So I got this stinky guitar, and over the course of the next, feels like in 1986, over the 87, the course of the next couple years, I tore it apart entirely. The only thing remaining from that original guitar is this piece of wood, right? So it's had a million different necks. This neck I found in a bin, like a throwaway bin at Nadine's Music on Santa Monica Boulevard. It's had different pickups through the years, different whammy pedals, all the electronics are completely different. I put this like fat head thing on the back because I thought it would give it more sustain. It didn't work, but I left it on. And then finally, like I honestly, like, I gave up. I was trying to get a guitar that would be my perfect sound, and was banging my head against the wall, and just said, I'm going to stop right now. This is going to be my guitar, and I'm just going to create with what I've got.
Make it work.
And that was very liberating, because it was no longer chasing sounds. It was embracing the sound I had and using that to make music.
And so that's been essentially the way it's set up
This
now.
is I mean, on all 19
90s.
of my records, this guitar features prominently. You know, every show I've ever played, you know, for thousands of shows, this is the guitar. Has been my main guitar for songs that are in standard tuning.
One thing that Perry had mentioned is, do you go through a lot of toggle switches? Because what you do?
Well, should I want to see a little toggle demonstration here? So, I mean, one of the things, you know, when I was the DJ in Rage Against the Machine, one thing you have to learn to do when you're a DJ is to scratch.
Yeah.
So at the time when I got this guitar, like, the coolest guitars were the Eddie Van Halen ones that had one pickup and one volume knob. So I was stuck with a guitar that had a toggle switch and a bunch of knobs, which was super uncool. So I thought, is there some way to make this work for me?
Yeah.
And the toggle switch thing is, you know, it's basically this pickup is, the volume is turned to 0, so you hear nothing, and then this pickup, it's turned to 10. So when you go between the two, it works as a kill switch, as an on-off switch, right? So if you know, create some sort of sound and then rhythmically work the toggle switch like you're picking a guitar, you can create sounds that are reminiscent of a DJ scratching. And then by simply adding something like a slide, which is used in a non-traditional manner, in this way, it's just generating any sort of tone with the guitar can then be manipulated with the toggle switch.
Do you ever mess around with different types of slides or like metals or anything, or is that
No,
just kind
I complain sometimes because they're like too chubby, but this one's pretty good right here. This was
What about strings on this one?
Strings on this one, it's custom lights. It's 9 to 45, or 40, 9 to 45, and or 9 to 46.
And what's
the
9 to 46. Reason behind
the reason
that?
behind that is just it seemed to work better with the locking nut for me.
Okay.
And because I'm not tuning down for this, it provides sort of like a springiness in the ease in bending without having the 10s on there. So.
Cool. And I assume those are just EMG.
Yeah, the EMGs, and again, all of the much of the riffage in my career is done on the front one, which is it's a single coil disguised as a humbucker.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just, you know, like. And then pretty much strictly for soloing do I go to the other.
Gotcha.
Go to the other.